सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. In the fourth chapter of Gita, we have finished up to 38th sloka, and we'll just do the recap of 30th sloka and then proceed. Nahi jnanena sadrusam pavitramiha vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Indeed, there is no other purifier in this world like Jnanam. Prepared through yoga, yoga means prepared through Jnanam, one attains. Prepared through yoga. Yoga means all Chitta Suddhi and Chitta Ekagrata. There are 11 sadhanas prescribed by Paramatma earlier. All those are called yoga here. So prepared through yoga, one attains that knowledge in the mind, in time. Now, all other prayaschitta karmas are purifiers. They may destroy varieties of impurities like Gohatya, Suvarnasteyam, Surapanam. All these papams they will remove, but they cannot remove Ajnanam. Ganga Snanam cannot remove Ajnanam. Prayaschitta karma cannot remove Ajnanam. If that be the case, there is no need to run these classes. We can all go to Ganga and have a dip. But that is not the case. It is not that simple. So only through Jnana Ganga you can remove your Ajnana. Now, one sadhana Paramatma is giving, that is Yoga Samsiddha Kalenatmani Vindati. Yoga Samsiddhaha means a qualified person. A qualified person, a prepared person, a refined person, a cultured person who has prepared himself for the knowledge seed to sprout into moksha tree, to give anandam. Before sowing the seed, we have to prepare the land. There should be proper temperature, and if any fertilizer is required, that should be there. Water content must be exactly as it is required. So this is all called Yoga Samsiddhaha Kalenatmani Vindati. So this is how one should prepare himself. That preparedness and refinement. This is possible by the 11 yajnas, all Dravya yajnas we have mentioned. So through Dravya yajnas we can achieve this. So a person can achieve that Chitta Suddhi, Chitta Ekagrata by these 11 yajnas, and then he can get prepared. But for most of them, they do not do anything. They do half-hearted, and they think that they are not getting Chitta Suddhi and Chitta Ekagrata. One person, he wrote a CA examination 27 times and failed miserably. So after he failed 27th time, he found a notice board that Jesus never fails. Beneath that, he wrote another sentence, let him try CA examination. So desperate was he. So he was so desperate that he thought that even Jesus cannot write CA examination. So this was the situation for an unprepared mind. If you are having a right commitment and the real attitude to cleanse yourself, you can take one or two of the 11 yajnas and you can process yourself internally and achieve that chitta suddhi and chitta ekagrata and be prepared and refined for jnana. That happens within the mind of the sadhaka. That is not outside transformation, that is within himself, within the mind that transformation takes place. So this is the jnana sadhana. First sadhana is the preparedness or refinement is required from the sadhaka side. This is the first sadhana. First sadhana is the preparation. Then Paramatma is proposing some more sadhanas. We'll see 39th sloka. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena digacchati. Anvayam for this. Shraddhavan tatparaha samyata indriyaha jnanam labhate jnanam labdhva achirena param shantim adhigacchati. Param shantim adhigacchati. One who has faith, who is devoted and whose organs are restrained attains the knowledge. Having attained the knowledge, he will soon attain the supreme peace. Now, in this, Paramatma is giving a few more sadhanas. The second one is Shraddha. The second sadhana is Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Shraddha in the validity of scriptures. Because the scriptures are very valid. We have to have Shraddha in the scriptures. They are beneficial if you have Shraddha. If I have got a doubt in the validity of the scriptures, if I am not able to understand, keep the doubt aside and keep listening. In fact, that will be the best method. Until at least the Gita is over, you just know that this is not convincing to me, it is not very clear to me. In this, there is another problem that may come. Everything you keep aside and at intervals, you go on reading these questions and doubts. As you progress, you will find one by one doubts are cleared. So Guru always welcomes questions. He is not afraid of questions. This is matter for knowing, not for believing. Every Vedantic Acharya will introduce questions. You ask like this, they will say. And then we have got a series of textbooks called Siddhi Granthas. They are exclusively question raising books. If you do not know how to raise a question, they will help you. So therefore, I have not understand clearly. Therefore, let me not reject the teaching. Let me question my understanding rather than the scriptures. This attitude is called Shraddha, not blind swallowing, rather than the scriptures. This attitude is called Shraddha. Such a person is called, one who possesses Shraddha is called Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Such a person will get conviction. So the second sadhana is Shraddha. The first sadhana is preparedness. The second sadhana is Shraddha. The third one given in the sloka is Tatparaha. Tatparaha means sincere and committed. You should also cooperate with the teacher. Just you should not ask questions for the sake of questions. Previously, Swamiji used to dedicate some time for question answer sessions, and he used to clarify the doubts. Without manana, legitimate doubts cannot come. Either there should be no doubt or it would be funny doubts. Like, people may ask how many pradakshinas I have to do in a temple, which is not relevant. I am not denying the question, but this is not relevant to Vedanta. So, some funny questions like this they pose and waste the time. One must have tatparata. Tatparata means commitment in the scriptures. They must be very much committed to the scripture. Then the next quality, the fourth sadhana which is required is Sanyatendriya, means Indriya Samyamanam, the sensory discipline. The sensory discipline is required, focusing capacity is required, even to listen for 1 hour. The duration of 1 hour, it requires a tremendous focusing capacity, and especially when it is consisting of serious talk. One should not, have wavering mind. So one should concentrate all his indriyas onto the knowledge. So if they allow the indriyas to wag tails, they cannot practice, they cannot understand this subject. The indriya samyamanam is very important. That is called Dhamma Yajna. So Samyatendriya is once again expressed. Samyatendriya includes the Samoyajna also, the mind control also. So both are required to have the focus on the subject. So 3 sadhanas are mentioned. This is the fourth sadhana. Fourth sadhana is Indriya Samyamanam, Dhamma Yajnam, which follows Shama Yajnam also. So if you do all this, what will you get? That is the question. What is the benefit of doing all these sadhanas? That is the question any sadhaka may ask. For this, Paramatma is giving an abhayam. He is giving a promise saying that Param Santim Adhigacchati. you will get the absolute peace and happiness. It is not, like the happiness which is promised after death, like you go to Swargaloka or you go to the higher realms of heaven and enjoy. This is what our Puranas say. So that is not a verifiable factor. You do not know whether it ever happens or not. Whereas Paramatma, Krishna Paramatma says, you get Shanti here and now. In this Janma, while you are alive, you are having that happiness, joy, and security, peace. So, achirena, when you get means achirena, very quickly, when you have all the qualification required and when you sit with Guruji, the first and foremost important advantage, you get Shanti, you get Anandam. This is expressed by many of you. They come and tell us, we are happy now. We don't have any worry. So, this kind of transformation do take place in Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. This happened to us, this will happen to you also. So, Param Santim Adhigacchati, when Achirena, very immediately, here and now. So, that kind of state of affair is called Jivan Mukti. You are a Mukta Purusha while you are alive. So, this is the greatest advantage. It is not posthumous. Because many other schools talk about posthumous benefit, after death benefit, which is not verifiable. Advaita Vedanta alone talks about Jivan Mukti, the happiness, the peace, the security here and now. That is what Paramatma is promising by following these sadhanas and exposing to Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, one attains this advantage. So, it is the Shastra. Shastra gives such a benefit, such an excellent benefit. You will be free from all worries. So, coming back to this sloka and the previous sloka, we have 4 sadhanas which are required, which are necessary for jnanam. The first sadhana is you should have prepared and refined mind. The second sadhana is Shraddha. Shraddha is required. Shraddha means you should have absolute faith in these scriptures. You should not doubt the scriptures. You should take scriptures with pramana buddhi. Pramana buddhi means to see some picture. Which indriya you use? Is it ear or nose or tongue? Which one you use? Invariably, one has to use eyes. In the same way, for Atma Vidya, to know yourself in the real sense, you have to invariably use Vedam. Shabda Pramanam. Vedam itself is a Pramanam, just like your eyes show the pictures, Vedam will show you your real self. So it is a Pramanam. So with that Pramana Buddhi, if you approach the Shastra, you will get the benefit. The 40th sloka. Ajñascha Sraddhadanascha Samsayatma Vinasyati Nayam Lokoschina Paraha Nasukam Samsayatmanaha. So, here Krishna, in this, Krishna Paramatma wants to deal with negative traits. In this particular sloka, Krishna Paramatma wants to deal with negative traits. In the previous verse, he was talking about positive traits, which have to be inculcated, imbibed, required and nourished. Now he is talking about certain negative traits which have to be handled carefully. Here he talks about 3 negative traits. He wants to say which one is the worst of the 3 also. First one he is mentioning as ignorance. First one is ignorance. Regarding anything, the ignorance is very dangerous. Even the local things also, unless you are having a knowledge, you cannot proceed in this mundane world. Supposing you want to go to some place by train, so you should know, prior knowledge must be there, which roads are blocked and which way you have to go to station, because in a city like Hyderabad, to go to your station it will take at least an hour and a half, basing on your distance. So in between traffic jams and so many things will be there. If some roads are under repair, you have to take a bypass. Then you have to calculate all this and plan your journey. And you should know when the train will leave the platform. So all this basic necessary information is required. Which train you have to catch, you must know. You should not simply get into any train you feel like. So, ajñascha means the one who is ignorant will always suffer in the day-to-day life. So, one who is not a worldly person, he always suffers in this world, because he doesn't know how to go about. Whereas he may be having a lot of faith on God. He may have tremendous faith on God. So if he is having tremendous faith on God, then he is not the beneficiary in this world, but when he dies, when he goes to the higher realms of the heaven, he is the happiest person. Most of the bhaktas are innocent. Most of the devotees are innocent. They do not know how to tackle things in this world. So they will be, they are cheated most of the times by the people in this world. So they face a lot of difficulties in doing vyavahara, in doing transactions in this world. Whereas after death, they are entitled for higher realms of heaven and they can enjoy the happiness. That is the advantage of not having local knowledge but having Shraddha on the scriptures. We'll see the next negative trait. So, the first negative trait is, if you don't have knowledge, you are the loser. So, ajñascha means an ignorant person. An ignorant person will be the loser of whatever he is not knowing. If you do not know the scriptures, you will lose the that param santim adhigacchati. He narrated that he will get that absolute shanti and peace and security that he is going to lose if he is not having no knowledge scriptures. One who is ignorant of scriptures will lose this. The next negative point, trait, Paramatma wants to say is the a lack of faith in the scriptures. Lack of faith in is the second one. Lack of faith in anything. In the scriptures, ashraddha. So they say, I don't believe in the scriptures, I don't believe in all these mantras and pujas, I don't go to temples. They tell that as though it is a great thing. So this is another negative trait. So lack of faith in the scriptures is the second negative trait. So if you do not have any faith in the scriptures, then you lose paraloka sukham. Ihaloka sukham you may get, but paraloka sukham you may not get. But paraloka sukham you may not get. So ashraddha. Ashraddha means a lack of faith in the scriptures. You may be very knowledgeable, so you are benefited in this loka. Ihaloka sukham is there, paraloka sukham is not there. But if a person is having shraddha and not having knowledge, the laukika knowledge, then he is entitled for paraloka sukham, but ihaloka sukham is not there. The third one is called samsayatma. Samsayam is a doubt. It's called doubting Tom. Paramatma says, among these three, the doubting Tom, that person is the worst one, who will face lot of problems in this world and also in the paraloka. Ihaloka and paraloka sukham, both are not there for a doubting Tom, because he doubts everything. He approaches in this world with all doubting mind, and on the scriptures naturally he will not have any faith, so he doubts the local knowledge, he doubts the scriptures, then that way he is the loser of both. So he will not get the ihaloka sukham and paraloka sukham. So you see these kind of people in our day-to-day life. He doubts everything. He doesn't believe his own family members. He doesn't believe himself. So that is the state of affairs. So if that be the case, the person is the loser. So basic trust must be there. Trust in the scriptures, trust in the people around you, trust in the society. When you have trust, you will get things done. So the third negative trait is doubt. Samsayatma vinasyati. One who is a doubting Tom, he is the loser forever. So for such a person, ayam lokaha nasti. For such a person, this loka sukham is not there. Na paraha. Na paraha means not. Where is the question of this person enjoying the paraloka sukham? He is not entitled for paraloka sukham. So here Paramatma gave three different negative traits. The first one is ignorance. Ignorance is, we will say ignorance is bliss, but it is not so in case of scriptures. In case of scriptures, ignorance is not a bliss. So, ignorance of the scriptures make you not entitled for higher realms of heaven or the moksha, the atyantika ananda, jivan mukti, videha mukti, you are not entitled if you have ignorance about scriptures. If you have ignorance about this world, you are not entitled to have a comfortable life. Most of the people say that I don't read the newspaper. It is not against Vedanta. You should know minimum knowledge of what is happening around you, so that you are not taken for a ride. So this is what now Swamiji advocates. So by not reading a newspaper, you are not spiritually uplifted. You should have minimum knowledge, so that don't go deep into the politics and other things. You should keep yourself update, so that you cannot be taken for a ride. Then the second negative trait is ashraddha. You should not have the lack of faith. The lack of faith is another negative trait. Lack of faith in the scriptures is the second negative trait. So if you have lack of faith in the scriptures, you are the loser. The greatest loser is you. Nobody loses. If you say I don't believe in Veda, I don't believe in these scriptures, who is the loser? You are the loser. So people think that it is a great thing, but they do not know they are missing the bus. They are losing their a lifetime choice. They forget. They do not understand that they are missing the lifetime opportunity, a great opportunity, by ignoring the scriptures. So ashraddha is second negative trait. The third negative trait is the most important trait, as Paramatma emphasized. This is called samsayam, doubting. Doubting everything is the worst thing. So if you keep on doubting everything, then you cannot progress either locally or spiritually. So that way, one should have all the three qualities. Then we will proceed to the 41st sloka. Yoga sanyasya karmanam jnana sanchinnanasanam atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. O Arjuna, actions do not bind. One who has renounced all actions through knowledge, who has destroyed all doubts by knowledge, who is mindful. So, here Paramatma says, Yoga sanyasya karmanam. Yoga sanyasya karmanam means yoga means jnanam. Sanyasya karmana means the karmas one renounces for the sake of jnana. So, This is the central theme of the fourth chapter. This you have to grasp. What is the central theme? The central theme is I am Atma. There are two different versions in me. One is a lower version, one is a higher version. The lower version is body, mind, sense complex. So far now, I am under the impression I am the body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, I am Karta, I am Bhokta. This Kartrutvam and Bhoktrutvam were there in the beginning of this teaching. So I used to think I am doing and I am enjoying. So this Kartrutvam and Bhoktrutvam must go away. Then my real self is Atma. As Atma, I am Akarta and Abhokta. I am not doing anything, I am not enjoying anything. I am beyond the doership and the enjoyership. So that is my real self. So as Atma, I am Akarta, Abhokta. So this kind of state of mind is called karma sannyasam. You are doing action, you are not avoiding actions, you are in the mid of actions. You do all actions which are required in day-to-day life and perform your activities perfectly well. But at the back of your mind, you live in the reality that you are Atma. Atma is the living reality. Atma is the living reality for you. So when you have that living reality, you don't own up any ownership of actions. Therefore, you do not accrue any punyam or papam for all your actions. So there is no agami, there is no, all sanchita is burnt, prarabdham is exhausted, so no karma sesham will be there. So when karma sesham is not there, you will not get another birth. While you are in this body, you have that anandam. Because the local problems will not trouble you. All the mundane problems are pertaining to this body, mind, sense complex. They belong to this body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, they are not the problems of Atma. Atma is not having any problem. So you are the Atma. As Atma, you have no problem. When you have this mindset, you can easily solve the local problems also. Earlier, what was your mind state? You are having, you are in the in the labyrinth of problems. You are crushed by the world. You are crushed by people around you. You are crushed by situations. So you are helpless. Now that situation is no more there. You are beyond all these problems. With that state of mind, you tackle the local problems. You can solve them more efficiently than what you are handling, than what you were having in the earlier. So you can solve the problems more efficiently than before. So this is the greatest advantage. Suppose you cannot solve the problem. Then also you are not in a discomfort. Because this is the problem of the body mind sense complex, not for you as Atma. As Atma, you are the witness of all these problems. So nothing shakes you. It acts as a great, shock absorber. See, when you open this, when you cut a jackfruit, what you do, you apply oil to your hand, the coconut oil, and then cut the jackfruit so that the glue will not trouble you. Similarly, when an electrician, doing the wiring, he wears gloves so that that it will not give him shock. So that way, the jnanam will act as a shock absorber for you to face all the worldly problems. You will be well protected, and also you are blessed with ananda. So this is the greatest advantage of jnana. So here the first word, that is yoga sanyasya karmani. This is the Sravanam part of the learning. We have got a three-tier learning process: Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. The Sravanam is indicated by this word. That is, you get this knowledge by exposing yourself under a guru for a consistently long time. When you expose consistently for a long time, you get this knowledge, and you have to have that knowledge, doubtless knowledge, and then assimilate. So this is what we have. Then the second one is jnana sanchinna nasanam. Then you should have doubtless knowledge by churning, by doing mananam, by discussing with your peer group, or contemplating on that, or reading, doing parayanam. So like that, staying with the teaching, you can resolve all your doubts. If doubts are still there, then you can always approach the guru and get it resolved. So that way, jnana sanchinna nasanam, you can be free of all your doubts and establish jnanam. What is that jnanam? I am Atma. Aham Atma Asmi. I am that Atma. My real Swarupam is Atma. This is what your reality is. So you stay in that reality. Then Atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. So Atmavantam means this is the third stage. Jnana sanchinna nasanam is maranam stage. Atmavantam is staying in that nishta. So you have spent long time on Sravanam and did mananam, processed all your doubts. You have got the doubtless knowledge. Still, there are some habitual obstacles which will trouble you in staying with that knowledge, in having that jnana nishta. So that habitual knowledge, the habitual obstacles, that obstacles which are happening over years, which are habitual, so those you can avoid, you can ward off by nididhyasanam. This is what Atmavantam here means. Nididhyasana means by constantly having that thought, I am Atma. Initially you have to alert your mind that you are Atma. So over a period of time, it becomes a natural flow. That habitual obstacles will trouble you in the beginning, but over a period of time, so these habits will vanish, habitual obstacles will vanish, and you stay in that nishta for good. And that is the starting point of the anandam. So from that moment onwards, you get anandam. So this is Atmavantam. Atmavantam means one who has got Jnana Nishta, one who is in that Nididhyasanam. He is having that Anandam. So he will enjoy that Atma Anandam. Karmani na nibaddhanti. Karmani na nibadnanti. Karmani na nibadnanti. For such a person, the karmas will not bind him. So for him there is no agami, there is no prarabdha. Prarabdha is exhausted. Agami is not created. Then sanchitam is burnt. So for him there is no further jarma. And he is happy here and now. So that is the promise, that is the abhayam given by the Shastram and also by Paramatma. And 42nd, he wants to conclude the chapter. So we'll read the 42nd sloka. Tasmad sambhutam hrutstam jnanasinatmanaha chitvainam samsayam yogam atishtottishta bharata. He Bharata, Tasmad ajnana sambhutam hrutstam atmanaha yenam sansayam jnana asina chitva yogam atishta uttishta. O Arjuna, hence with the sword of knowledge, with the jnana khadgam, destroy the doubt about the self which is in your mind, which is born out of ignorance. Get up and take karma yoga. So Paramatma is saying this ajnanam is the real cause because of which you feel that you are inadequate and you have all these problems. So once you drive away the ajnanam, once you remove the ajnanam by the sword of jnana, by the jnana khadgam, if you cut off the ajnanam, then you are free. Cutting off the ajnana means by acquiring the knowledge. It is not literally taking a sword and all that. You have to see that your ajnanam is cleared by the knowledge, by the understanding of Atma and owning up. It is not merely an academic understanding. If you understand and forget, that is not the essence. You have to understand and own it up, that Atma is you in real sense. Once you own up, you get the benefit. That is what actually cutting the ajnana means. You should not leave in an iota of ajnana. So, once you are having that jnana nishta, atma nishta, then you are the beneficiary. Chitvainam samsayam yogam. Chitvainam samsayam yogam means yenam, this ajnanam, you have to cut it by jnana asina, by the sword of knowledge. So, by doing this, what you have to do? Get up. Get up and start doing your action. Why Paramatma used this word? Because Arjuna became a coward. He wanted to run away from the battlefield. So now Paramatma is telling, whatever is your duty, you have to do it. And because of this attachment, you should not shirk your responsibility. So Atishta Buddhista. Atishta means stay in the knowledge, stay in the teaching, stay in that Atmanishta. Then nothing shakes you with that equipment of Atmanishta, with the protection of this Atmanishta. May you take up the action. This is what we all should understand. This Atmanishta is not keeping you away from the action. Most of the people think that if you understand Vedantam, you will go to Rishikesh, you become a sannyasi and all that. That's not the message of Paramatma. You have to do your action. While doing your action, you should have that Atmanishta in your mind. With your Atmanishta as a shock absorber, if you do action, then you will do the action more efficiently than the previous situation. So that is what Paramatma wants to say. With this, we have completed this chapter, and in the next class we will do the recap of this fourth chapter. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.